Hi everyone, this is our observation project for 7250. For this project, we each visited a different type of library in Michigan. Emma visited a rural library, Allison visited a small suburban library, and Tiffany visited a large suburban library. Due to visiting different types of libraries, we were able to learn more about the wide variety of space configurations, materials, programs, and services that libraries can offer. This presentation will cover the similarities and differences that we discovered between our libraries when observing from 3 different points of view: a caregiver of a preschooler with a stroller, a 5th grader, and a high school student.
From the point of view of a caregiver with a preschooler who was in a stroller, all 3 libraries had an emphasis on early literacy, including appropriate story time and other programs. Children's sections featured wide aisles and shorter shelves, and there was a selection of fiction, nonfiction, picture books, and reference books available. All 3 libraries also had at least some early readers available, and there was also passive activity pages. There were many differences between the 3 libraries. The rural library had both computers and iPad available, but was the only library of the 3 that had tablets that could be checked out. Board games were available to use on site, as well as Steam lab kits. The early readers were arranged by author last name, and the rural library also had many Vox books that could read to the child. The small suburban library had adult laptops, but no tablets. There was Steam lab kits available as well, and toys included floor puzzles, Lincoln Logs, and other manipulatives. There were some early readers, but they were organized by reading level. And the small suburban library also had some Vox books available as well. The large suburban library had 2 different types of computers in the children's section, one geared toward preschool level. And these had color-coded keyboards and preschool level programs, as well as regular computers available. They also had iPads for preschoolers as well. They do not have Steam kits available, but do host 1 Steam event per month. And there were no real toys available. Instead, there was 2 activity centers and a puppet play area. There was a large emphasis on early readers with an extremely large collection of them organized by reading level. And there was a large central island, but there was circular desks in the middle with preschool computers and iPads on them. And with kids randomly going and leaving these spaces, it makes navigating with a stroller quite difficult.
The next point of view that we had to observe from was a 5th grader's point of view. I'll start by talking about the similarities between all 3 libraries. The first similarity is that there was space available for 5th graders to complete their homework. However, the location of the space did differ. The suburban libraries had space available in the children's area, whereas the rural library had space, but not in an area dedicated for children. The second similarity is STEAM materials and programs were available for children in this age range. These materials and services did take different forms at each library, such as STEAM kits, activities available in a creative text-based area, and monthly classes, but they were all still options available for 5th graders to use at the library. The third similarity is coloring pages and supplies were available for children to use for free. Coloring is an activity that can be done and enjoyed by all ages, especially children. A variety of coloring pages were available, so it would be possible for a 5th grader to find a page that matches their interests and age level. There seemed to be a lot more differences between the libraries and similarities when observing as a 5th grader. The first difference was in how the elementary level books were organized. For instance, the elementary level books were in their own sections in the suburban libraries, whereas in the rural library, they were mixed with the rest of the children and teens books. The second difference was the availability of computers. The small suburban library differed from the other 2 because it did not offer computers for children to use. At the libraries with computers for children, a 5th grader would be able to use the computer to find help or resources for schoolwork, or use it as a form of entertainment by playing games like Roblox when they wanted to take a break. The third difference was the availability of tablets. The small suburban library did not offer tablets to children, whereas the other 2 libraries did. The 2 libraries that had tablets for children did have different approaches. The large suburban library had tablets installed into the surface of desks so that they would remain stationary, whereas the rural library seemed to use tablets that were programmed with age-appropriate applications, and each tablet was color-coded based on age level. For example, a 5th grader would use a blue tablet because that meant it was for ages 10 and up. The fourth difference was the programs that were available for 5th graders. The small suburban library and the rural library had children's programs that were geared specifically for pre-K and younger, so they did not offer many programs for 5th graders to enjoy. The large suburban library had a robust schedule that was packed with events for children of all ages, even 5th graders. The last difference was the availability of board games. The rural library had a wide variety of board games that was organized by age level. Fifth graders would be able to take a board game that matches their level and play it within the library. The suburban libraries did not offer board games for children.
When considering the point of view of a high school student, we noted that our libraries shared in the fact that while they each had dedicated young adult or teen sections, they had very little nonfiction materials specifically intended for teens, which would make it difficult for a junior to complete a research paper using only library materials. However, each library differed in a number of ways when it came to their approaches to teen services. For example, only the large suburban library had a dedicated teen space. Meanwhile, the small suburban and rural libraries had YA cataloged separately, but did not have a space set aside for teens to congregate. They also differed in their approaches to teen programming. The large suburban library had the most programs intended for teens, with their teen council assisting with the planning. The rural library had the second most, with teen events labeled separately in their event guide, and the small suburban had the least, with no dedicated teen events.
Thank you for watching our presentation.